We got the Barbarian here on the program, Tim Boetsch, who's going to be fighting at UFC on ESPN4 on March 9th. Tim, what's going on, man? How are you?
Not too much. Snowed in today, so taking it easy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's happening everywhere. I actually live on the West Coast, and we got dumped with a bunch of snow. I had to just shovel my driveway. It seems like everywhere is getting hit. How many inches of snow do you have?
We got about 6.5 last night. Now it's switching over to freezing rain, which makes everything really nice.
Yes, no, for sure. Do you feel like having to go through like a brutal winter makes you tougher as a man? I feel like it does.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The cold weather, shoveling snow, that all makes you tough.
We haven't seen you since April of last year. Any particular reason for the layoff? Why we haven't seen you in the cage?
Started a new business, so I was busy with that all summer. And then, getting on in my career here, I was weighing which route to go. Obviously retirement is a thought that's in my mind. So I was bouncing that off the manager and the family, and we're just, making sure we wanted to do things right and make sure we get the timing right on that. And then had this opportunity to fight. And of course, when you see a matchup like this, boy, it's right in my wheelhouse. So it's a hard fight to turn down. So I think the matchup is what made this one. It's going to be an exciting fight for the fans. Two sluggers going at it, and certainly a fight that I'd like to be a part of. So all of those factors went into it, and obviously I accepted the fight, and we're gonna have a good one here on March 9th.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic fight. And before we talk about that, you did reference the business there. What is it that you're running? What type of business? And how has that been managing that while also training for this fight?
We started a snowball stand, so it's a seasonal business selling frozen desserts, and it was awesome. I was nervous when we first opened it, just hoping someone would stop, and then we got absolutely crushed. So we were busy all summer, and then just figuring out, how to manage staff, go through all of that. It was quite the learning process. It took a lot of time, obviously, so not a lot of time to train, but it's snowing outside. We're not selling snowballs this time of year. I can focus on training. So that's another factor why, I was out of the octagon for so long, but definitely ready to get back in there and get another KO.
Yeah, and it's challenging to run a business sometimes. Had you had any previous experience, managing, food and beverages and things like that, or was this something that was completely new to you?
That was completely new. I'd never done anything in the food industry, so there was a lot of challenges involved there, lots of regulations for obvious reasons. You don't want to make anybody sick. So some challenges, but definitely got a lot of the wrinkles ironed out, and it really, really went well. We're looking forward to this next season coming up and looking to expand. So things are going good on the business side of things.
Now, tell me there's one snow cone or something there called the Barbarian. There has to be, right?
Oh yeah. There's the Barbarian special. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, we'll definitely plug that at the end. I think people would want to have a little bit of that. But let's talk about the matchup. Omari Akhmedov, 17-4-1 record. What about this matchup excited you? Why was this the fight to bring you back?
I watched video and pretty much knew right away this is a fight that made sense for me. Just his style, and just, styles make fights. Everybody knows that. And this is a great opportunity to showcase what I can do. Just watching what he's done in the past, how he punches, the fact that he is very aggressive, the fact that he can take a punch. That's one of the tools that he relies on. And from what I've watched, he basically shakes them off and keeps coming forward. But I think I'll be able to show him something a little bit different. And the fact that he's coming up in weight, he just moved up to middleweight not too long ago in his career. I think it bodes well for me. I'm I'm pretty good sized middleweight myself. So just a lot of things about the fight made sense for me to take. And I can see where I should have some advantages in there.
And I talked about your layoff, but he's been off even longer. He hasn't fought since December of 2017. Do you feel like his lack of cage time will impact him in this fight?
For some people, everybody talks about ring rust and those things, but I believe at some point in the professional fighting, and you've done it long enough, obviously he's had a lot of fights. For me, I don't really rely on that layoff time being a factor for, true professionals. You get in there and fight, and either you're a great, good fighter or you're not. The fact that you've been out of the, competitive scene doesn't mean that he hasn't been fighting tough guys in his gym I'm not familiar with what he's been doing training wise, but I'm sure he's got some great training partners that are pushing on him. And I fully expect to see a very game opponent on fight night.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Who are some of your main training partners for this camp that are helping you get ready for this fight?
I'm actually staying right at home for this one, going back to my original crew here in Sunbury, and got a pretty decent home gym set up now. So I actually have a lot of training going on right here at the house. So that was another factor for me. Time away from family was becoming a little bit more stressful, and knowing the things that I was missing. So this camp has been different in that I've stayed right at home. Haven't been, taking the weeks on end away from family, and, mentally I feel a lot better because of that. There was a lot of stress involved being away from home, and that's not a factor this camp now. We'll see how it plays out on fight night, but I'm feeling pretty confident.
What about the weight cut? You're a veteran. You always make weight. I imagine that's going well too.
It is this camp. I'm way ahead of schedule on the weight, which was a concern of mine. Like I mentioned earlier, not getting any younger, and everybody talks about how the weight cut becomes harder with age. But I think just being aware of it, and I had a long time to get ready for this fight. I think it's been. I think I found out about 13 weeks out, so that's plenty of time to get the weight under control. And I'm actually, like I said, way ahead of schedule of where I normally am. So I don't think weight cut will be an issue this time around.
If you were running your business right now, if it wasn't cold out, do you think the weight cut would be tougher just because you're around all that bad food all the time?
Yeah, definitely.
I like the honesty there. I like how you're like, no, I would be okay. Yeah, no, you're like, yeah, it would be tough. So
yeah, no,
cool.
I love to eat.
Yeah, we all do. Your corner, who's going to be in the cage with you that night?
So Marcus Davis is coming to this one. And my brother-in-law Drew and father-in-law Wade, who've been with me my entire career. So it'll be the same crew in the corner, and we're going to get after it.
We're going to see another finish in this fight. That seems to be the theme in your career, getting these really impressive knockouts.
Yeah, that's I'm not familiar with the exact stat, but I've been on quite a streak of not letting things go to the judges, win or lose. So I fully intend on keeping that streak alive. So hopefully I'll get my hand raised after this one, unlike the last fight, but it's not going to the judges.
Do you still get people talking about that Okami fight where you came back? Because if you look at MMA, that is one of the best comeback fights I think of all time. Just the way it happened and the way you were able to finish him.
Yeah, it surfaces on social media every couple of months, and I see people talking about the greatest comeback and all of that. And of course, it's fun to watch and revisit that night, because I think obviously it was a career-defining moment, and just the circumstances of being over in Japan in his backyard and getting beat up for 2 rounds straight. It was a heck of a fight, and definitely, once you go through something like that, it helps you deal with adversity and all the future fights, because I know that I can get beat on for 10 minutes straight and still have the power to come back and finish a fight with a couple of punches. So. Definitely a confidence builder, and in a fight that I revisit often when times get tough.
You mentioned there, at this point in your career, retirement is sort of the light at the end of the tunnel. But for you, if I'm hearing you correctly, if a good matchup is presented, you consider fighting. But if it isn't, if those opportunities aren't there, then you're cool just running your business, right?
Yeah, and I've been fighting quite a while, and I've been fortunate enough to not to sustain any injuries. Never had broken bones. Worst thing I did was break my thumb on Vladimir Matyshenko's head, and if I can end a career in the shape I'm in right now, I'd feel pretty good about that. But like you said, good matchups are hard to turn down.
Okay. And last question before I let you go here. We talked all about fighting and your business and everything. What about downtime? I know you're a family guy, but what do you like doing to unwind? What are your hobbies outside the cage?
My big one right now is barbecue. I actually just got back from a competitive competition down in Arkansas.
No way.
ACBF World Championships. Yeah. Ran over there for the weekend with my buddy Matt Greiner. He's a competitive barbecuer. So that's something also in the works in the future. Hopefully I'll have a barbecue truck and going there, but that's one of my main passions that I have right now.
Excellent. And this is just you actually barbecuing and making things, not actually eating, because I would imagine that wouldn't be a good idea during training camp.
Yeah, it was a struggle, but just got to stay disciplined and yeah, so the competition, you're turning that all into the judges. There was plenty there to eat, but I had to kind of use my best judgment and not pound, pounds and pounds of barbecue last weekend.
How did you place?
We ended up right in the middle of the pack. We were 38th out of 97 teams, so not as good as we had hoped, but the competition was really tough and, a real great experience. So some lessons learned over there for sure.
Okay. What is there like a favorite signature dish you make or favorite item you like eating on the barbecue menu?
Brisket's my thing. I really love a well-cooked brisket. I enjoy putting one together. And, maybe the judges didn't care for ours as much as we'd hoped this past weekend, but that's one of my favorite things to cook.
And we certainly like this matchup here. It's coming up March 9th. It is UFC on ESPN Plus 4. Tim, it was great getting a chance to catch up with you again, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I just picked up a new sponsor, Myron Mixon Smokers. So get over there and check that out. That obviously goes along with my BBQ'ing hobby that I've got. Check me out on Twitter, and that's just Tim Boetsch. And I've got an Instagram going too, and that's just Tim Boetsch at Instagram. So check me out over there, and I appreciate you having me on the show.